Hey guys, Caroline here. So today I want to show you how you can use tarot or oracle cards to get in touch with your higher self. This is especially helpful if you're going through a breakup or some stressful financial or career related situations or anything you may be struggling with and you just have a hard time getting clear on what your fears and anxieties are and what your higher self is trying to tell you. So I have some question prompts that I'm going to kind of go over with you guys quickly, and then I'll do a couple short readings for higher self guidance for relationships and higher self guidance for career and finances, just so you can see how this works. This is very helpful to do at home with a journal where you can just ask these questions, write down the cards that you got and what the messages that came through. And it really does help give you a lot of clarity and peace of mind. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get started. Okay, so here I have my cards all set up. And I'm going to go ahead and do the reading first for love and relationship situations, and then I'll do a reading for career situations. And I'm going to go ahead and just ask these questions as I go along, but I will post in the description below the question prompts that I'm using if you want to go ahead and jump down and look at that, okay? So for the first question, love and relationships. What does my inner child desire most right now? So we're going to pull two cards for that. What does your inner child desire? Okay. So with this, I am getting, and whatever message you get is what is meant for you. So if something that I say doesn't resonate, don't take it. Again, this is just an example. There may be a message here that is very significant for you and is significant for your current situation. So go ahead and take that. But when you're pulling these cards on your own, it's whatever message comes through is what your higher self is trying to tell you, or your inner child in this case. So in this case, I am seeing that your inner child wants to be chosen, right? Because here we have all these cups, all these options, and this person is just looking and reviewing like, oh, what should I pick? And this is kind of your inner child saying, hey, pick me. Like, I want to be chosen. I want to be put first. I want to be prioritized, okay? Your inner child also desires stability. This card can represent, a relationship offer. This can represent a long-term relationship, a long-term partnership. So what I'm seeing here is that your inner child is really desiring attention and stability in relationship. Okay, what does my inner child need most right now? So I'm going to pull two cards. Okay. So this also is a card of kind of stability. This is a card of patience. This is a card of many relationships. So perhaps what your inner child needs most right now is a community, right? Because Pentacles also can represent long-term stable relationships. And we have two sevens here, which is interesting, which is kind of time for reevaluation. But what I'm seeing here is what your inner child needs most is family, community, because all of these pentacles represent relationships, right? And King of Swords is a card of integrity. King of Swords is a card of clarity and fairness. So I'm really picking up on, a sense of community, long-term relationships is what your inner child is most needing right now. Now, what does your higher self desire most right now? And this is where it helps to get clarity, because sometimes, your inner self, your inner child acts from a place of fear and kind of very humane basic needs, but what your higher self wants and needs can often be very different from your inner self. So this, or your inner child. So this is where it can be helpful. Okay, your higher self. Okay, so this is a card of the shadow. What I'm seeing here, so here we have a little bit of a conflict, because here we have the inner child just desiring relationships and attention, maybe not even one relationship in particular with a significant person. It's just wanting attention from whoever it can get it from community. This is a card of shadow work. So what I'm getting from this, your higher self is really wanting to do shadow work, is wanting you to understand why you yearn for partnerships to complete you, why you don't feel complete by yourself. It's recognizing that this constant yearning for other relationships is like a black hole. You're trying to fill a void that you actually have to fill within yourself. So your higher self is actually longing for healing in relationships and within yourself first and foremost. Your higher self is desiring union, because here we actually have two couples, right? We have one couple in an unhealthy situation and a couple in a very healthy situation. Okay, this is a card of celebration, of rejoicing, right, of a very stable and happy home. So what I'm seeing here is, your ego, your inner child is desiring relationship wherever it can get it, just to be surrounded by people. But your higher self is wanting a stable, healthy relationship. So your higher self is most wanting you to do the work to discover what blocks keep you from healthy partnership. Okay, so your higher self is most desiring relationship healing. Okay, what does your higher self need? What does your higher self need? Okay. Okay. So here I have balance. Temperance is a card of balance. It's a card of harmony. We also have the scales here. So what your higher self is most needing is unity and connection with others, reciprocity. Okay. So again, here we have the inner child that just wants attention. It wants long-term stable partnerships, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, I'll take it from whoever I can get it. Right? And this is a card of emotional detachment. So emotionally detached from relationships, you're just wanting to accumulate because you want the attention. But what your higher self is wanting and desiring and needing the most is healthy, balanced relationships, right? Balanced relationships that come from a place of authenticity, because this is not authentic, right? This is seeking out relationships to fill a need, not out of a genuine desire to connect with someone else in a healthy way. So what your higher self is needing most is to recognize that we're all connected, that what we put out into the world is what we receive, and we have to be mindful of that. And it's wanting healthy, healing, balanced relationships. Okay? Now we're going to ask, what is my greatest fear in this situation? Okay? What is my greatest fear in this situation? Okay, so what I'm getting with this is, this is very much a card of confidence, competence, success. So what I'm seeing, that your greatest fear is that you'll somehow lose your status or your standing. Like if you open yourself up to being vulnerable, to admit that you have emotional needs or that you want reciprocity, you're afraid that somehow that's going to make you weak, that makes you feel weak in some way. That's what I'm getting as your greatest fear, okay? In this example. Next, what next step can I take towards healing? Okay. This is gratitude for me. This card, here we have these cups in front of him, and we have this one being offered from the divine, right? But he's not seeing it. He's not acknowledging it. He's like in this state of boredom, okay? So what next step you can take to heal is just to express gratitude for all that you have, gratitude for the relationships that you currently have. Again, rather than trying to desperately seek out attention and all these other relationships, but from a place of emotional detachment, what I'm seeing here is to be grateful for everyone that you have in your life, to be grateful for all your relationships, because this will help to remove whatever blocks you may have towards building authentic relationships. So gratitude is always one of the best ways to remove blocks. Gratitude and forgiveness. There's nothing more powerful than expressing gratitude and forgiving yourself, forgiving others. Those are the best ways to remove blocks to authenticity, to connection. Okay, last question. Where can I extend myself more compassion? Where can I extend myself more compassion? And I'm going to pull 2 cards. Okay. This is very much a card of independence, assertiveness, healthy boundaries, working for yourself, just being confident, being on your own. So what I'm seeing here is extending yourself compassion and recognizing that you can be on your own. You do have everything it takes to be happy. You don't have to constantly seek fulfillment in these outside relationships, and that by recognizing that you have everything you need to be this powerful, strong leader of your life and expressing gratitude, that is the best way to then experience authentic relationships. But you have to recognize first that you have everything that you need to feel fulfilled and to feel happy. And it's only sharing that with others in an authentic way, right? Here we have sharing and balancing that you can experience fulfillment. And this is a card of depression, mental anxiety, limiting beliefs. This is also a card of deception and betrayal. So what I'm seeing with this is it's important to acknowledge that your insecurities, right, your inner child's insecurities, your need for attention is a result of some past circumstance. This could be stemming from childhood, from a relationship with one or both of your parents, a sibling, perhaps you were bullied in school. So there's a deep-rooted insecurity here because you were mistreated or treated in a way that was not kind or compassionate, and that is what has caused you to feel this desperate need for longing and acceptance, okay? So being compassionate towards those past situations that led you towards this insecurity and just giving yourself love for that, okay? It's very important. So that is the higher self journaling or question prompts for love and relationships. I'm now going to go ahead and do one for career and finances. Okay, channeling our higher self in a career, life purpose, or finance situation. So we're going to start again with, what does my inner child desire most right now? And we're going to pull 2 cards for that. Okay. What does my inner self, my inner child desire most right now? So what I'm seeing here, this is a card of compassion, of nurturing, and emotional fulfillment, okay? So when it comes to our career and finances, you know, this is important. Monetary, because pentacles also represent money, monetary gains, right? New opportunities for making money. This could be wealth, you know, growth in wealth and having a stable home. We have the stable home here in the background is very important for you. But I'm also seeing that it's important that it be emotionally fulfilling, that nurtures your soul. So any dissatisfaction you may be experiencing in a career could be because you're not really in alignment with your purpose. And whenever we're in alignment with our purpose, we feel fulfilled emotionally. It's not just about earning money, but what I'm also seeing here is it's not just about feeling emotionally fulfilled, because we also do have to be able to pay our bills, right? So it's a balance. It's a balance between emotional fulfillment and having our needs met and having stability and security, okay? This is what our inner child most desires. What this could also mean, because it's our inner child speaking here, is that in our career, we really need to have nurturing relationships. Perhaps we need to feel valued by our employer, or if you are self-employed or you have employees, being valued by your clients, being valued by the people that you work with, right? Feeling nurtured and respected in a caring way. Okay, what does your inner child need most right now? Go ahead and pull. Okay, so this is a card of fairness, of justice, of setting healthy boundaries. Okay, this is very much a card of honesty and integrity. And again, nurturing. We have a lot of nurturing here because we have 2 queens. This is a card of conflict, of struggle, of competition. So what I'm seeing that your inner child needs most right now is to feel respected by your peers, because again, this is a card of tension, of competition, right? Of competing interests. So what I'm seeing here is needing a balance, needing to have shared interests with those that you work with, and needing to feel respected and acting in integrity, okay? What does your higher self desire most right now? What does your higher self desire? Okay. All right. So these are both cups. So your higher self desires harmony, desires reciprocity. Your higher self also desires hope, because this is a card of hope, of innocence, of, you know, childlike innocence, optimism. So your higher self is really desiring hope and optimism is what I'm seeing. So perhaps you're dwelling in negativity, and what your higher self is really desiring in this situation is that you be hopeful and optimistic that things can change, or that you can find the right job for you, or that the current job that you're in will get better and you can improve your relationships with those around you. Okay? And here, what I'm getting from this is your higher self is really desiring options, growth more specifically. So here we have all these options, right? We have, you know, financial gain, perhaps we have travel, or, you know, being able to move into another home or a bigger home, education, metamorphosis, evolution. Okay, so I'm seeing that your higher self really desires a career that gives you opportunities to grow and evolve, right? One that's not going to keep you stuck, keep you stagnant. So growth is very important for your higher self. What does your higher self need most right now? Okay. All right. This is a card of going on an inner journey, walking away from something that's no longer serving you, walking away from toxic relationships, toxic situations. So in this particular reading, what I'm seeing is that your current career or financial situation is no longer serving you, and it's time to go. Okay, if that doesn't resonate with you and you love your career, then this particular reading isn't for you. This is really just an example of how you can use these question prompts. But for some of you that are watching this, so this does resonate with you, your career, your current career is not really satisfying for you. It's keeping you small. It's keeping you stuck. It's not giving you options. Okay. And it's time to walk away. It's time to walk away because there's greater opportunities out here in this horizon. There's greater opportunity for growth. This High Priestess is a card of inner knowing. It's a card of intuition, very much a card of your higher self. So I'm seeing that you have to listen to your intuition on this. Your intuition has been nudging you and encouraging you to move on because the situation is no longer serving you. All right. What is your greatest fear? So in this particular reading, if we're needing to walk away, perhaps we're afraid to walk away. Why? What is your greatest fear? Why are you afraid to leave this situation? Okay, so this is a card of, it's funny, a lot of the same cards are popping up, even though I shuffled them really well. This is a card of charity, of giving to others, of taking care of other people. So I can see that you're afraid you'll lose your financial stability, and perhaps you have a family and children that rely on you, so you're afraid you won't be able to provide for them. Okay, you're afraid you'll be poor, right? Or you'll be this beggar that will then have to ask for help from others. So that's a very legitimate fear. I'm going to get one more for this. What else are you afraid of? Okay, this is a card of abundance, of wealth. So this is actually kind of the opposite, whereas this is a card of charity or of begging. This is a card of abundance, of having everything that you need. So what I'm seeing with this is you might actually be afraid that you'll find fulfillment in your career and that it will lead to wealth and success, and that terrifies you. So sometimes we're terrified of failure, that we won't be able to take care of others, and sometimes we're afraid of success because success means we have to grow. We have to grow outside of our comfort zone. So that is another fear I'm seeing here. We're afraid of success. We're afraid to experience this wealth and abundance. All right, what step can you take now towards healing or towards making this change? What step can you take now? Okay, this is a card of partnership, of union, of leaning on those that you care about most or can trust. So with this, I'm seeing, leaning on those that you do trust. If you have a partner, consulting in them, confiding in them that you're wanting to make this change, asking for help. This can also be union with the divine. Two of Cups, I also interpret as union with the divine. So asking for help, praying for help, asking for guidance, recognizing that you're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. So asking for help and asking for advice if you need to, or reaching out to a friend and letting them know what you're planning on doing. Say, hey, I'm thinking about leaving my job and starting my own business, or I'm thinking about applying to other jobs and leaving my current job. Do you know anyone? Do you know anyone who does work in this field, right? We have social contacts, but we often forget to lean on them. And someone that we already have in our context may have the next piece of the puzzle for us that will help us to take that step forward. So leaning on your relationships, your partnership, asking for help, asking for guidance is very important. All right, and lastly, where can you extend yourself more compassion in this situation? Okay, this is a card of fear of not enough. This is a card of lack. So what I am seeing here is recognize that that fear is legitimate, okay? Recognize that it's perfectly normal to be afraid that you'll lose your money and your stability. That is very, very normal. So be compassionate towards yourself in that regard. What else? Where else can we be more compassionate towards ourselves? Yeah, recognize that you've worked really hard to get where you are. And it's not that you're rejecting that or denying that. It is simply recognizing that it's time to move on now. It's time to grow, because you can't work any harder or any more in this current position because you're limited. All right, you're too limited. So showing yourself compassion for your fears, validating your fears, recognizing, however, that you've done all you could in this situation, but it's time to walk away because you're not feeling fulfilled, right? You're not feeling fulfilled anymore. And recognize that you can also ask for help. There are people that can help you. You can ask for guidance from the divine. You're not alone. The right people and circumstances will show up for you as long as you align with your purpose and what does bring you fulfillment. Okay? So those were just 2 examples of how you can use these question prompts to work through your anxieties, through your emotions, and get clarity on what it is that your inner child may be wanting versus what your higher self is really wanting. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will post these question prompts in the description below, and you guys have a great night. Bye.